Howdy, how y'all doing? This is George the Fearless Rambler, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today I'm in Norfolk, Virginia, looking at some historical sites. Not hysterical, but historical. And today I'm going to go across the Chesapeake Bay over to Hampton. In Hampton there's a national monument there called Fort Monroe. A free walking tour if you like. So do me a favor, come join me.
For these 400 years, the point of land known as Old Point Comfort that now includes Fort Monroe has served as a key defense site at the mouth of Chesapeake Bay. Due to its historic and cultural significance, Fort Monroe was designated a National Historic Landmark in 1960 and then listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1966.
So Fort Monroe, well, you have to think about it. It's not really in Virginia Beach, that's just where I'm staying. And it's not really in Norfolk, where it's a beautiful military town. This area is Hampton, and Hampton was burned down in the War of 1812. Now, you think about, wow, this whole area burned down, so they decided to maybe protect it. So they built this fort. They started this fort in 1818, and it continued to be built until 1834. And again, there's a long bit of history past that, but this is when basically they built this fort and got it ready maybe for other invasions.
Fort Monroe National Monument has a diverse history spanning the American story, from the American Indian presence, Captain John Smith's journey, first arrival of enslaved Africans in English North America, a safe haven for freedom seekers during the Civil War, and a bastion of defense from the Chesapeake Bay through the 21st century. Visit and witness this ongoing preserved work in action.
Attack the Battle of Norfolk.
What a place to visit. And you know what? It's free to walk around. As you walk around, you're going to see a great span of history, including some really cool stuff from the Civil War.
Is this one of the cannonballs?
Yeah, this looks like it was up there by using the Battle of Norfolk right here. Look at that size of that cannonball. I'm pretty sure that's bigger than my head. Let's see. Yep. Bigger than my head. This is the Fort Monroe Visitor and Education Center. Again, closed because of COVID. So wait for COVID to open up and you just may be able to see something.
A fun tidbit, of all the characters that passed through Fort Monroe, none was more unmilitary than Edger Allen Poe. Yet Poe spent a critical 4 months at the post in the years of 1828 to 29. Trying to become a soldier. From there he went on to the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he finally realized he was not cut out for the military. Never more, never more, never more.
Just think, if you're one of the guards here firing out across the moat. I want to thank President Obama. He made this in a national monument in 2011. What a great historical site. It's a wonderful place to come and visit. Doesn't cost anything to visit, just kind of walk through, see all this great architecture, see this history that's upon us. This fort that was one of the Union forts of Civil War, even though it's deep south, at least northern south, it still was held by the Union. And again, President Lincoln came down here and actually used this as a part of a catalyst to free the slaves. So what a wonderful place of history. Now John Smith, the hero of Pocahontas, instead of just building the town in Jamestown, which he's famous for, he also wanted to build a fort in this area here to look over the Chesapeake Bay and the entrance to the Atlantic. And that was back in 1609. That's been a while. So I guess it's a pretty good place. Now let's look across it and see the bay itself. What a view you can get across here, looking across Chesapeake and down to the Atlantic Ocean.
Look! I can see some great, marvelous things across the Chesapeake Bay. Only if I would put a quarter in that slot.
This is the Old Point Comfort Lighthouse. It was built in 1802, and during the War of 1812, it was used by the British as a lookout for their forces. And there is the lightkeeper's quarters that was used until 1973 when it became Army property.
Historically, the term battery refers to a cluster of cannons in action as a group, either temporarily in a field during a battle situation or a siege at a fortress or a city. Such batteries could be a mixture of cannons, howitzers, or motor types. But certainly we go to the forts to see these batteries. So let's go take a look. This battery was named in 1903 for First Lieutenant Douglas S. Irwin, who was killed in the Mexican War. This battery was originally armed with the Model 1898 gun on balance pillar mounts. Again changed out in 1920 with a 3-inch Model 1917 anti-aircraft gun. And today we're looking at two 3-inch Model 1902 pedestal mounted guns here in this battery. Replaced in 1946 as saluting guns. The two saluting guns and their late box-type gun shields remain in emplacement at Fort Monroe.
The guns they had in World War II were a little different. They had put in some 1902 3-inch anti-aircraft guns in this spots. These we're looking at right now and are not war weapons, they're saluting weapons, basically big bang makers. Again, this whole area cost was about $12,500 back in 1903. And again, it was protecting, these batteries were protecting the coastal line. So the batteries that I was saying, about 5-inch guns, they really were 90mm guns. They've been put up here for display purposes. And during World War II, they replaced some 12-inch guns that were placed up on these batteries. And these 12-inch guns were put in some 90mm anti-torpedo boat guns. So basically, torpedo boat batteries were put on there so they could fire at it if, you know, someone's bringing a torpedo boat. I don't think that ever happened here, but they were ready for the Germans to come in and maybe invade the coast with PT type gunboats. You can come up and look at a few pieces of armory still laying around, see some of these batteries, and see what they're trying to protect. And here it is. This is what they're trying to protect right here.
Fort Monroe is the largest stone fort ever built in the United States, and the only moat-encircled fort remaining in active duty.
So you kind of think about it, why a moat? That seems like a medieval thing, right? Let's build a moat around our castles to protect it. Well, that isn't why this moat was built. This built was to bring barges in and out. You know, it basically raised and lowered due to tidal fluctuations in the sea here. It was really to bring in barges, to bring in stone and brick to this area. And that's why they built the moat. And they've actually built these gangways, or these pedestrian bridges, to get onto the fort itself. Now this fort does expand out further now, and we're going to walk through that. But this is the original fort, and it's pretty cool looking. And you can see the berms up there, in which they have armory up there to fire. Now again, the walls have been built further out. I'm going to take a look at those.
The fort walls were up to 10 feet thick, and the moat was 8 feet deep. The initial design provided up to 380 guns and was later expanded to 412 guns, intended for garrisons of 600 troops in peacetime and up to 2,600 troops in wartime. However, the fort was never fully armed.
Could be a weather station, a lookout.
I think this is called Lookout Beach, so it makes sense when you look out.
Starting to see a long way from here. There's our coastal guns right here and the batteries.
Walking along the trail on that 10-foot wall, you can see many of the gun emplacements. Too bad the guns aren't lined up, ready for battle. That would have been a sight.
You want an interesting story?
Sure, just have an interesting.
Not interesting story.
Go ahead, interesting story.
So I was playing the game GeoGuessr, which you use Google Maps and it places you somewhere in the world and you have to try and figure out where it is. They placed me here and I couldn't figure out what it was, even though this is my hometown, because they have now taken the name off of the arch there. In the game GeoGuessr it said Jefferson Davis, so I was like, where is there a Jefferson Davis Park? Really, it was in Hampton and it was here. And I felt dumb because I've been here many times. There's a not interesting story for you.
Wow, that's a big one. There it is. That's what you were saying.
The Jefferson Davis Memorial Arch. No longer says Jefferson Davis.
Again, this is just an arch now. Just an arch.
No longer celebrates the Confederates.
And it's kind of interesting because this was never dealt with, the Confederates. This is all Union.
Jefferson Davis was held hostage here after the war.
There you go.
Celebrating the heroes of the Confederacy. And they have now since removed the name. It doesn't look like many people were there in attendance at the dedication ceremony.
Nope, there wasn't. Not something to celebrate, is it? You know, they're fighting for state rights, but they left something out important. That was human rights. So this is called what?
Chapel of the Centurion.
The Chapel of the Centurion, right here. I just wanted to walk over here and show you the parade grounds. It's usually where all the officers were. They always had the view of the parade grounds. These are officer homes right here. And this fort was functioning till when?
Oh, I'm not sure. Pretty recently. Sometime, probably 2011.
2011.
When it was dedicated as a...
That's when it was dedicated as a national monument. And it's very soon prior to that, it was still an operational fort. And some of these houses are still used by military.
Yeah, some really need work like that one.
Off limits. Here from Monroe, we decided to come to the cemetery. But it's a special cemetery. It is a pet cemetery. I think, take a quick look at it.
His name was Woofus.
Oh no.
But that was a dog.
What was the name?
Woofus.
Woofus right here. You know who'd be happy about this cemetery? Stephen King.
Rex.
Rex is a good name. I'm pretty sure that Stephen King, this is the place he would want to come visit. Ooh, Mitzi.
Let's see, 1927. Hunky's Antique Chihuahua.
Ooh, could be closed. Those are one huge cannonball. Those would be very powerful if those things were lobbed at you.
As we finish up our walking tour here at Fort Monroe and walking by the interment buildings of Jefferson Davis after the Civil War, me and Nikki want to personally thank you for joining us. It's been a beautiful day, and the Virginians certainly have great hospitality. Now do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. You get more of this fun content. And give me a thumbs up because it's better than a thumbs down. And you know what? I like the thumbs up. This is George, the Fearless Rambler, signing off.